Hi students, welcome back to Evershine Coaching Center. Myself Faisal here. Dear students, today I am going to discuss the topic acid, bases and salts highlights. Okay. In this chapter, we are going to discuss which are the questions are very important, from which are the paragraph or which are the lines or definitions or sentences we want to concentrate more. Okay. So this video will be very helpful for you all to understand the basics of this chapter. So do not forget to subscribe this channel, Evershine Coaching Groups. Okay, you will be getting still more latest updates like this. Children, here we are discussing the chapter acid, bases and salts. Let's begin. We can see here the chapter name is acid, bases and salts. That is chapter 2. Shall we start? Fine. You have learnt in your previous classes. Do you think we want to start from here? No. First we have to see summary of this chapter, that is points to remember. Come, let's see the summary of this chapter. Then we will start solving the questions of this chapter. Observe it, children. What we have learnt in this chapter. Acid base indicators are dyes or mixtures of dyes which are used to indicate the presence of acids and bases. Is this clear? So acid base indicators we are using for like they are dyes or mixtures of dyes which are used to indicate the presence of acids and bases. Just to check whether it is acidic in medium or basic in medium. To check we use acid base indicators. Is this clear? Acid base indicators we use to indicate the presence of acid or base in the solution. Next point, acidic nature of a substance is due to the formation of H plus ion, that is hydrogen ions or hydronium ions, okay, in solution. Formation of hydroxide ions, that is OH minus ions in a solution is responsible for the basic nature of a substance. If you want to say the given substance is acidic in nature, it means that, understood, it happens due to the formation of H plus ions. If H plus ions concentration is more, then we call that solution as acidic in nature. If OH minus ion concentration is more, then we call the substance is basic in nature. Be careful. Understood? If H plus ions concentration is more, then we call it is acidic. If OH minus ion, that is hydroxide ions concentration is more, then we call it as basic. Next point. When an acid reacts with metal, hydrogen gas is evolved and a corresponding salt is formed. Very important, very important. Remember, whenever we react acid with metal, which gas is produced? Hydrogen gas is produced. For an example, let me take one small example. Have you seen the iron? Carbonate, loha? Yes, iron. Okay, you just hit the surface of iron. You just drop some amount of water on that. कुछ पानी उसके ऊपर डालो तो क्या होता? What happens? If you pour some quantity of water on a hot iron tawa or something, okay, so what happens? Definitely some gas is produced, right? Yeah, that is nothing but hydrogen gas. Just I have given the hint. Okay, whenever we react acid with metal, whenever it's not, water is not an acid, just I am telling an example. Okay, just to remember. Got it? Whenever we react acid with metal, it gives hydrogen gas. And the corresponding salt is formed. Next, when a base reacts with metal, just let me to erase this. 1 minute. Yeah. Now we can see here, when a base reacts with a metal, along with evolution of hydrogen gas, a salt is formed which has a negative ion composed of the metal and oxygen. Here what happens? In this case, what did we observe? In this? When acid reacts with metal, hydrogen gas is formed as well as one salt is obtained. One salt is formed. But when base reacts with metal, what happens? There also hydrogen gas is formed and a salt is also formed. But this salt has negative ion. This salt will have the negative ion composed of the metal and oxygen. Here we have negative ion concentration since it is base is reacting with metal. But hydrogen gas and salt, both the cases hydrogen gas and salt itself. But only the difference is what? In base we get negative ion concentration. Okay. When we can see here, when an acid reacts with metal carbonate, very important, children. Please remember this this point is very important. Do not forget this. When an acid reacts with a metal carbonate or metal hydrogen carbonate, it gives the corresponding salt, carbon dioxide gas and water. It is very important point. Do not forget this point. Understood? When an acid reacts with metal carbonate or metal hydrogen carbonate, it gives the corresponding salt, carbon dioxide gas and water. Got it? Good. Next point we can see here. Okay. When acidic and basic solutions in water conduct electricity. Whether you take acidic or basic solution in water, they conduct electricity. Why? Because they produce hydrogen and hydroxide ions respectively. Understood? When you take a solution, understood, in this, whether you add acid or you add base, understood, to conduct electricity, what happens? Here what happens? Example, NaCl, let it be. Due to dissociation, what happens? It forms Na plus ions and Cl minus ions. Is this clear? Did you understood this? Very good. I hope you have understood this point. Yes. When acidic and basic solutions in water, they conduct electricity. When there is ion formation, they may ask you in 1 mark. Understood? Acidic and basic solutions will conduct in water, they will conduct electricity. When? Only when, if there is ion means when there is dissociation of ions, if it is going to take place, means positive and negative ions if it is coming, then only it conduct electricity. If this ions formation is not happening, then it doesn't conduct electricity. Remember. Understood? अगर से electricity conduct होना तो क्या करना है बेटा? हमना ions formation होना. अगर से ions formation नहीं हो रहा है तो water में electricity conduct नहीं होगी. Understood? Done? Good. And next we can see here the strength of an acid or an alkali can be tested by using a scale that is called as pH scale. Okay, if you want to check whether it is acid or base, that is called as strength of an acid. Okay, whether it is high like weak acid or strong acid, or weak base or strong base, I want to check. At that time we use the scale that is called as pH scale. That pH scale is measured between 0 to 14. 0 to, example, if this is your pH scale, this is 0 and this is 14 and this is 7. This 0 is strongly acidic in medium, and this is alkaline, that is strong alkaline. Understood? So anyhow, if it is coming towards 0 from 7, if it is coming towards 0, that is called as acidic. If it is going beyond 7, right hand side from 7 to 14, that is called as basic. Okay, so you need to remember that. Okay, next, a neutral solution has a pH exactly 7. A neutral solution has pH exactly 7, while an acidic has pH less than 7 and basic has pH more than 7. Just now, as we discussed, living beings carry out their metabolic activities with an optimal pH range. We have the minimum pH range. In that we perform our metabolic activities, our daily activities. Got it? Okay. Next, mixing concentrated acids or bases with water is a highly exothermic process. Mixing concentrated acid or bases with water. Okay, water is here. You are mixing acid or bases with water. Is highly explosive, means it is highly exothermic process. It is highly exothermic process. Understood? Acid and bases neutralize each other to form corresponding salts and water. Acid and bases, when they both combine with each other, when acid and base both combine with each other, this reaction is known as, when acid and base combine together to form a salt. Okay, one salt formation is going to take place. This process is known as neutralization reaction. This process is known as neutralization reaction. When acid and bases combines together to form a salt, hence this process is known as, or this reaction is known as neutralization reaction. Similarly, here acid and bases neutralize each other to form corresponding salts and water. This is one of the very important definition. You can expect even this question for your 1 or 2 marks. The question may be Like, what is neutralization reaction? Give an example. Okay, even this question is also important. What is water of crystallization? Okay, so remember children, these two questions. Okay, water of crystallization is the fixed number of water molecules present in one formula unit of salt. Okay, this process is known as water of this reaction is known as water of crystallization. Salts have various uses in everyday life and as well as in industries. We use the different salts. We discussed about the family of salts where all it is applicable. I hope you have understood. This is the concept actually what we are going to learn in this chapter. Done? Let's start the chapter. Yes children, we can see here in acid, bases and salts. In this first paragraph they have given something related basics of this chapter. Okay, and after that in this paragraph one thing is important which you want to understand. Okay, from this paragraph you want to understand only one thing. To detect whether it is acid or base, we use indicators. That is, indicators are known as acid base indicators, right? So we have different types of indicators such as natural indicators. Okay, next is synthetic indicators, next olfactory indicators, and next is universal indicator. Done? So please, from this paragraph you just highlight the examples of natural indicator, synthetic indicator, olfactory indicator and universal indicator. Okay, so what is natural indicator, synthetic, olfactory and universal indicator? You can, if it is possible, you can define them, but mostly I can say you that from this part they can ask you examples. Okay, maybe it's your choose the correct answer or something, they can, you can expect the question. So you need to remember this basic thing. Okay, so these all indicators, examples, and if possible you can define them from this paragraph. That is important. Okay, next, if possible you can just read this once, that is do you know. From do you know part, don't worry, you won't get any questions. And you can solve this question also. And next, if you we are going to learn the chemical properties of acids and bases. Chemical properties of acids and bases. In this we have discussed about olfactory indicator as what I said you. Okay, now we can see here, just a minute. Yeah, how do acids how do acids and bases react with metals? This topic is very important. In this we have got a diagram, that is reaction of zinc granules. Reaction of zinc granules with dilute sulfuric acid and testing hydrogen gas by burning. So this diagram is very important diagram children. If not, in case if they don't give this diagram, then what type of question can be asked? You should know this. Simple, what they will do, they will give you the diagram. Okay, after giving the diagram, maybe this part they will hide, maybe this part they will hide. Okay, are you getting children? So and maybe this any of this part will be hidden. So you need to identify what is that part. You need to identify. Okay, even this test is also known as pop test. This test is also known as POP, pop test. Did you got it? Fine. So I hope you have understood this question. And here we can see 1 minute. Yes, this is very important. That's nothing but, as we have discussed in the summary, when acid reacts with metal, which type of gas is obtained? Hydrogen gas. The topic you need to remember. And you can just give some examples also. Here we can get, here we can see there are some number of examples. That is sodium hydroxide. You can see here sodium hydroxide, that is base. When reacts with acid, what happens? It gives sodium zincate and hydrogen gas is liberated. Children, remember, this reaction is very important. This reaction is very important. When sodium hydroxide reacts with zinc, so what is formed? Sodium zincate. Please do not forget this reaction. Okay, and hydrogen gas is liberated. Children, one thing I just like to say you, when acid reacts with metal, almost in maximum all cases I can say that hydrogen gas is liberated. Okay, It liberates hydrogen gas. But here we can see in this point it has written, you find again that hydrogen gas is formed in the reaction. However, such reactions are not possible with all metals. Such reaction is not possible with all metals, like hydrogen gas what we are obtaining. So this will not happen. Okay, this type of reactions are not possible with all metals. You should remember that point, but that is not so important. But I can tell you this topic is very important. This topic is very important. That is sodium hydroxide when reacts with zinc, it gives sodium zincate and hydrogen gas is liberated. You should not forget that reaction. It is important. Done. Now after this we can see here, yes, this is the beauty of this chapter. Seriously, according to my thinking, you can expect this question. Seriously, it is very important question. It is very important question. If you see your preparatory papers or midterm paper or any XYZ paper, okay, we can see here this question is been appeared. It is very important. How do metal carbonates and metal hydrogen carbonates react with acids? This is only the question. The question will be asked like, how do metal carbonates and metal hydrogen carbonates react with acids? Children, we can see here for this question, what you can do is same thing as what you can observe here. Okay, you can you see this? Same sentences you can write. Same thing, just copy paste, nothing else. At least if you do at least this much. If it is possible, write the sentences. See here, test tube A, test tube B, it's given, but just you can don't need to write test tube A, test tube B. Directly you can start solving the answer. Okay, just you can say that when sodium carbonates react with hydrochloric acid, it gives sodium chloride, water and carbon dioxide. But in test tube B we can see sodium hydrogen carbonate when react with acid, it gives sodium chloride, water and carbon dioxide. Both the sides we get same product, but the quantity is different, the moles is different. Here we can see, here we have 2 moles of hydrochloric acid, here we have 2 moles of hydrochloric acid, but here we have 1 mole of hydrochloric acid. Even in product we can see there are 2 moles of sodium chloride, but here 1 mole of sodium chloride. This is the only difference. This is the only difference. Understood? And even reactant you see here sodium carbonate, but here sodium hydrogen carbonate. H is extra over here. That's it, nothing else. Okay. Now what happens? Now these products are formed, right? So on passing the carbon dioxide gas evolved through lime water. Now what we are doing? We are on passing carbon dioxide gas evolved through the lime water. So what happens? This calcium hydroxide, okay, plus carbon dioxide, it gives sodium, calcium carbonate and water. When we pass carbon dioxide, okay, the gas what we have got, carbon dioxide, right? From this what we are doing? We are passing that gas through lime water. From this gas which is evolved, this gas, okay, I am passing through lime water. From when I pass this through lime water, it gives calcium carbonate. What it gives? It gives calcium carbonate. It is known as white precipitate. Do not forget it. Precipitate is nothing but it is insoluble. Again it will not dissolve. Again it doesn't react. That is called as precipitate. So what is the color of this precipitate? White precipitate is formed. Understood? So you need to remember this point. Done. Now after this, same thing we can see here. When on passing excess carbon dioxide, when we pass just small amount of carbon dioxide, we got white precipitate. But here when we pass excess carbon dioxide, the following reaction takes place. If you pass more carbon dioxide, what happens? It means we get a product which is soluble in water. This is the major difference. If you pass a small quantity of carbon dioxide, we get a product that is precipitate. Understood? If you pass excess carbon dioxide, understood what happens? When calcium carbonate, when I am passing through water and carbon dioxide, got it? When excess carbon dioxide is, when I am passing this calcium carbonate with excess carbon dioxide, what happens? We get a product which is soluble in water. It's like limestone, chalk, marble are different forms of calcium carbonate. All metal carbonates and hydrogen carbonates react with acids to give corresponding salt, carbon dioxide and water. Got it? Is this clear? Yes. So here we can see either you take metal carbonate or metal hydrogen carbonate, when they react with acid, it gives salt, carbon dioxide and water. Just you have to write this much. If you are going to write this much, you can expect around 2 marks, sometimes 3 marks also. Should not forget it. Please do not miss this question. It is very important question. Done? Good. Now how do acids and bases react with each other? For this we can see here in this part, just you have to remember only this much, just main concepts you need to remember. When sodium hydroxide reacts with hydrochloric acid, it gives sodium chloride and water. So you have to define what is neutralization reaction. When acids react with base, it gives salt and water. That process is known as neutralization reaction. So this question is very important. Done? They may ask you, right, what is neutralization reaction? Give an example. You can give this example. Done? Okay. Next, reaction of metallic oxides with acids. Again here also metallic oxide, metal oxide plus acid gives salt and water. In this, again reaction of non-metallic oxides with base. You can just read this paragraph. How do acids and bases, what do all acids and bases have in common? In this children's, this is the diagram which is there to draw. Okay. In this you can just go through that. What happens to acid and base in a water solution? Yes, this is very important. From here in this paragraph you can get a question like whether you want to add acid with water or water with acid. That type of question will be asked for you. Okay. And children, remember this chemical reaction is important. Potassium hydroxide and magnesium hydroxide. Please remember this. And they will ask you what are alkalis. What are alkalis? You can read this. Got it? It's important question. What are alkalis? And remember this potassium hydroxide and magnesium hydroxide chemical reaction. Done? Okay. Next. Yeah, as I said you about this concepts. Please read this paragraph. Please go through this paragraph. In this paragraph it has written, just it has been given whether you should add acid to base, acid to water or water to acid. What happens? And they will ask you what is dilution, what is dilution or what is diluted. Okay. So of the base is said to be diluted. They will ask you this question, what is dilution? And similarly, if water is added to concentrated acid, what happens? Okay. So what we should do? So which is a better method to solve this problem? These two questions are there in this paragraph which you want to concentrate. Done? Next you can just go with this question answers. And how strong are acids or bases? It is there. So do remember children, this is like we can see here, it's been given. Just you need to remember this line. Just a minute, I will show you. Yeah, that's nothing but what is pH stands for? Potenz in German. The meaning is power of hydrogen ion. That is power of hydrogen ion concentration. Okay, pH. So usually we use this scale. 0 is very acidic, 14 is very alkaline. It is very alkaline. Got it? So you can just go through that point. Got it? And 7 is neutral. 7 is neutral. The values which is lying below 7 towards 0 in this direction, they are called as acidic. If they are moving in this direction, they are called as basic. Got it? During acidic, what happens? You can see here hydrogen ion concentration is, from here we can see it is increasing. Can you see children? Hydrogen ion concentration, what happens? From here we can see it is small, it is little more. Similarly, when hydrogen ion is more, when hydrogen ion concentration is more, OH minus ion concentration will be less. If hydrogen is less, OH will be more, vice versa, opposite to that. Got it? Then you can just solve this table. Done. And importance of pH in everyday life. Okay, this question is important. They will ask you for 3 marks, write the importance of pH in everyday life. Then you have to write the summary. Just write one title, main key important points, you can just describe it. If not, 1 mark questions also they will ask you. Our body works with the optimal range, right? What is the optimal range? that is 7 to 7.8. Our body works in the pH range of 7 to 7.8. This is one, that is the narrow range of pH. When pH of rainwater is less than 5.6, it is called as acid rain. It is called as acid rain. When if this acid rain flows into the rivers, or when it flows into the water, river water, what happens? The aquatic life will be getting damaged. Okay, it means the animals which is living in the water will suffer a lot. Means it will be very difficult for them to survive. So do remember that point about the what is pH and what happens to the aquatic animals. They will ask you this question, sorry, what is acid rain and how this acid rain affects the aquatic animals or aquatic life. So you should know that acid rain definition is very important, do not forget it. Similarly, we can see here what is the pH of soil in your backward. You can just read that paragraph. Then pH in our digestive system. Remember, our body, our stomach will build hydrochloric acid, as we all knows it. Our stomach produces hydrochloric acid. It helps, this hydrochloric acid will help in the digestion of food, okay, harming the stomach. During indigestion, in case if there is, we call it as indigestion, right? So how can indigestion happens? Simple. When it is too much acid produces inside the stomach, then indigestion will happen. Due to that, we feel pain and irritation. Okay, if proper digestion doesn't take place, then indigestion will happen. That indigestion is nothing but what happens due to, how can we get to know there is an indigestion? We get stomach pain, irritation. Okay, so that type of sensation is going to take place due to indigestion. Means if our stomach produces more acid. So how to get out from that pain? You have to use antacids. It's important, children. You have to remember this. We are using antacids. Okay, that like you used to have no pan 40, Digin, so many gastric tablets, right? That's what exactly they are doing. They are acting as an antacids. Okay, so that is the remedy. You should know that. And here these antacids neutralize the excess acid. Magnesium hydroxide, that is milk of magnesia, and mild base is often used for this purpose. That is what actually we are going to use there. So pH change as the tooth decay. Here also we can see when the pH of mouth is less than 5.5, what happens? Tooth decay is going to takes place. So you can just read this. Tooth enamel made up of calcium hydroxyapatite. Children, this word is very important. That is tooth enamel. Okay, tooth enamel made up of calcium hydroxyapatite. Okay, that is nothing but crystalline form of calcium phosphate. This is the hardest substance in the body. 1 mark question. It is very important question. Which is the hardest substance in our body? That is nothing but calcium hydroxyapatite. Okay, this is the nothing but the crystalline phosphate. It is the crystalline form of calcium phosphate. That is the hardest substance which is present in our body. It does not dissolve in water, but it is corroded when pH of mouth is less than 5.5. So bacteria present in the mouth produces acid by degradation of sugar and food particles remaining in the mouth after eating. The best way to prevent this is to clean the mouth after eating food using toothpaste, which are generally basic for cleaning teeth, can neutralize the excess acid and prevent tooth decay. You can just read that paragraph. Is this clear? Done? Okay. Next, self-defense by animals and plants through chemical. You can just read this. But in exam, this question has been already appeared. That is, have you ever been stung by a honeybee? Is any of the time a honeybee has bitten you? That is stung by honeybee? Yes. If it is yes, you can see here. Bee sting leaves an acid which causes pain and irritation. Use of a mild base like baking soda on a stung area gives relief. You should know this. Okay. So bee sting, once if it hits our body, what happens? An acid which causes pain. It releases the acid. Due to that, we feel pain and irritation. To remove that, what we have to use? We have to use baking soda on the surface so that we get a relief. Understood? So which acid is present in that? In bee sting, methanoic acid. This is very important question. Bee sting, which acid is produces? It produces methanoic acid. To remove this acid, what we should do? We have to use baking soda. That is a mild base. Got it? So that it is the remedy for that. Done? Okay. And next, this table you can study, children's. That is natural source. Okay, you can study this table. You can study this question and answers. and more about salts. In this salts, pH of salts, one thing you need to remember, you have to go through this manufacturing of sodium hydroxide. What is chloralkali process? You may get this question. Or okay, what is chloralkali process? Got it? And you have to explain the manufacturing of sodium hydroxide and their uses. Similarly, they will ask you the question in one more question. Just a minute. You have to draw this figure. You should draw this figure. Done? And they will ask you this question. During chloralkali process, okay, chlorine gas is given off at anode, hydrogen gas is at cathode, sodium hydroxide solution is formed near cathode. They will ask you this product. During by using chloralkali process, the product which are formed. So name the products which are formed after by using chloralkali process. You have to write these products and where they are formed. So this is very, very, very important, this point. Got it? Okay. Done. And bleaching powder, we can see here. So this all what you have to write is, you have to write their name, bleaching powder, what is their other name and how we represent them, CaCO2. Okay, just you can read this paragraph and remember the molecular formula. Okay, and how what manufacturing of bleaching powder also you need to understand, you need to know. Okay, bleaching powder. And we have one more name, I'm not finding it, just a minute. No, it has gone up, it seems. Just a minute, I'll let you know. I remember that. Yeah, this one, it's very important. Remember, this sodium chloride is nothing but is called as brine. You should know this. When electricity passed through an aqueous solution of sodium chloride, that is nothing but brine. Okay, you should remember this name. Sodium chloride is nothing but, here we are using, we call that as brine. That is one point. Okay. I'm not finding, actually I'm just searching for one point. No, I'm not finding it. Anyways, so you can remember this baking soda, uses of baking soda, washing soda, uses of washing soda. It's very, very important. You need to remember, you have to go through this salts family. Okay, and they will ask you preparation of plaster of Paris and gypsum. You have to study even this paragraph, preparation process of this both plaster of Paris and gypsum, how it is formed, and you can just study this question answers also. Understood? The salt family is very, very, very important. Definitely you can expect one question even from salts also. Done? Fine. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you all have understood this chapter highlights, right? Good. So you can start your preparation right from the beginning, from the basics of this chapter. If you have liked this video, subscribe my YouTube channel, Evershine Coaching Groups. Done? If you are finding still more any difficulties, you can just WhatsApp me or call me on my number. Got it? Or you can mail me, I'll revert back to you. If not, you can comment me, I'll get back to you with the proper solution for your doubts. Do not forget to like, subscribe, share and comment. Thank you for watching this video. Wish you all the best of luck. Do well. Thank you.